Hello, welcome to the News Agenda for Friday, October 16th, 2020. It's World Spine Day, which has been met with protests across the United States. Many Democrat and Republican lawmakers have called such a day offensive, as they lost their spines a long time ago. It's also National Word Day. I've chosen the word acachaphasia, which means the loss of the power to formulate a statement correctly, which you may have noticed that sometimes this is an issue for me. Just be glad I'm not doing this live. That can be painful. We're going to start with the Dueling Town Halls, a very underrated classic character study. However, I couldn't be bothered to watch either. So let's move on. As I mentioned on Wednesday, I want to discuss some key Senate races. So let's get into it. Martha McSally is taking on Mark Kelly in Arizona, and all I have to say is good luck, McSally. Mark Kelly was a fucking astronaut. In North Carolina, there is a close race between Tom Tillis and Cal Cunningham. And in a win for diversity, no matter who wins the race, we will finally have a rich middle-aged white man in the Senate. There's a controversy in Montana. The Senate election is between Steve Daines and Steve Bullock. In a slight tradition, Steve decided that he would not confirm he would be the taste test judge in the state's annual Turkey Testicle Festival. Which Steve it was could not be discerned before this recording. In Alabama, incumbent Democrat Doug Jones pretty much is expected to lose to Tommy Tuberville, mostly because he's not running against an alleged child molester. For Maine Senator Susan Collins, her tendency to signal she worries and then following the majority leader anyway is expected not to work out against Sarah Gideon, Bible magnate. In Iowa, Jody Ernst faces off against Teresa Greenfield. And that's all you got for Iowa, because what the fuck else is there? And finally, in Michigan, Democrat Gary Peters takes on Black Republican John James. James is not a popular choice with the racist militia members, who are largely the GOP's base in that state. Check it out on Monday, and we'll have the next installment with a rundown of some horse races and house races. For a preview, 432 Milton Avenue is expected to come in second place compared to 444 Milwaukee. It's a crowded field of 8 homes, but who knows who's going to win. We spent a lot of time with the matchups between the Democrats and the Republicans, those big parties. But sometimes it's good to pay attention to the third parties that are increasingly popular, mostly because of disgust for Trump and disappointment in Biden. Very fair. So let's take it right off the beaten track, mostly because this party doesn't believe the government should pave roads. This year, many are considering voting Libertarian. So when you say Libertarian, what comes to mind is generally Ron Paul or Vermin Supreme. That's not a joke. That's a man who ran for office. He promised ponies. Which is just honestly wonderful. But for the 2020 election cycle, Libertarian Party's candidate is Joe Jorgensen, seen here counting off the age of children who should be allowed to work in the mines. After reading a lot of people's feelings for Joe, it makes me think that these supporters just want a guns and dope party. But as appealing as it is to get high and blow shit up, the Libertarian Party has a few other ideas, like ditching public education, minimum wage, environmental regulations, social security, healthcare regulation, licensing of practitioners, anti-discrimination laws, and so on. So there's a lot more there. They might sometimes have a point. On Joe's site, she specifically calls out occupational licensing as a major job killer. For example, eyebrow threaders in Texas require 750 hours of training, which they can all do just with me. This amount of training, though, is wild, considering you can become a cop with only 618 hours, and you get a gun. The requirement for eyebrow threaders was absurd, and rightfully overruled. But if you want to toss out all licensing, that means doctors too. Dr. Nick is ready to help, and so is Jen. Dr. Jen, that is. Besides that, if you find yourself just wanting the guns and dope, the Guns and Dope Party already exists. So write in your own goddamn name for president. Compared to the Guns and Dope Party, libertarians are just cowardly anarchists. But really vote for who you want. But realize we all make compromises unless you just vote for yourself. And then think, next month you'll find yourself being a hypocrite too, because we all change. Don't worry, I'm not just picking on the libertarians. Next week I'll be discussing the Green Party. that's all my news for today. I realize that that's only 2 main stories, but I don't care because this is my show and I can do what I want. I want to express thanks to my lovely patrons who are scrolling by right now. There's also another patron who committed $1 a month, and that is so appreciated. It really is. I'm not lying. It does mean a lot, even that token. One of today's segments was suggested by one of the executive producers, so I just wanted to extend my thanks. If you want to help out financially, there's a link in the video description and displaying in the credits here. So thank you for your consideration. Please remember to like and subscribe. Stay safe, and remember, I love you.